Well, at least we're not the Jets. What is up, Finn fans? Hope you guys enjoyed my last video. I was upset. I was very upset. Rightfully so. I'm going to try not to get so upset in this video. We are going to look a little bit more at the Colts game. We're going to kind of look at the state of the Dolphins going forward. If news happens today of Tua practicing and Tua this and Tua that, obviously I'll make a video. The thought process and the expectation from me anyway is that Tua will practice this week and Tua will be the starter for the Arizona Cardinals on Sunday. And maybe, just maybe, that is the spark that this team needs because, again, to me, the problem with this team is special teams and offense. I don't think the defense is a problem, and I think the defense would absolutely feast off of a lead bigger than 7 points. But we will talk about this. There's a bunch of things I want to talk about when it comes to some of the things that Mike McDaniel said. One of the things Mike McDaniel said, Kyle Krabs had something very interesting to say, so I want to kind of delve into that a little bit, and some other things. So without further ado, let's jump into this Mamma Jam. Something interesting that I saw, and this was from Omar Kelly from yesterday, was this. And this is, let me make it a little wider. This was from yesterday at around 11:20 a.m. And this is before the game. He says, Dolphins GM Chris Grier and CEO Tom Garfinkel have a pretty animated chat before the Colts game. Garfinkel is the go-between for owner Stephen Ross. Grier's next conversation was with O-line coach Butch Berry. So they are having somewhat of a conversation. Now, what is that conversation? Is he saying like, listen, you don't get your stuff together, you don't pull your head out of your blank, you're fired? I'm hoping, that's my hope and my prayer, that he was like, look, man, you've had 9 years, you've brought in X amount of players, used X amount of cap space, used trades, this and that, and this team is now sitting where it is. If you don't win this game, you're in danger. I'm hoping that's the conversation, and I'm hoping we find out sooner than later that they move on from him and they find his replacement. Because again, my idea, and I talked about this after the Tennessee Titan loss, is you move on from Chris Grier, you bring in a new GM, whoever it is. In-house with Brandon Shore is a rumor. Go out and get Louis Riddick. You can go out and get someone from an established front office that has success in grabbing players like the Chiefs, like the Lions. Pick one of these teams that, has a good draft history of recent and bring them in, and that's your new GM. And then have that GM watch Mike McDaniel for the rest of the year and decide, do you want to keep him or do you want to go out and get a Mike Vrabel or some other coach? That's my whole thought process with what I would do going forward. Will they? Probably not, because, they love to torture me. But you could tell by the title, are we at rock bottom? Are the Dolphins at rock bottom? If they're not, they are very close. Like, very close. They're right now sitting at 2-4. Jets are at 2-5. I'll show you kind of where the Dolphins are at right now. It's not great. I'll just tell you that right now. It's not great. We're still in second place. So we're still in second place. So, that's nice. But when it comes to like playoff standing, we're not in a good spot. We are what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I guess we didn't really move. If the Chargers lose, they'll drop. So we're at the 10 spot. We got to start winning, obviously. And some of these teams need to start losing. So we're not necessarily at rock bottom. Like, the Jets are definitely in a worse situation than us because they go out and get Devontae Adams. They bring in Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers then says, you know, we need to do this. We need to do that. They fire Robert Saleh. They demote Nathaniel Hackett. Rodgers wants to do this and that, and they still get embarrassed on national TV. Jets are in a worse situation. So are the Dolphins at rock bottom? If they're not at rock bottom, like I said, they are very close. Absolutely very close. But Mike McDaniel in a presser said the 2 turnovers were tough ones. Mike McDaniel, collectively as a team, we just have to play smarter football. That starts with me. He also said that he has to find ways to get Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle the ball. Doesn't think the Colts did anything out of the ordinary to take Hill and Waddle away. Said both players were very active in the game, even without the ball. This is where, like, the anger wants to come back up out of me. And this is where the cursing wants to come back up out of me. And this is where this man said he has to find ways to get Tyreek and Jalen Waddle the ball. It is week 7. Besides week 1, with a beautiful touchdown pass to Tyreek Hill, you haven't gotten them the ball. You had 2 weeks to prepare for this. Why all of a sudden are you saying, well, we need to find ways to get them the ball? You had 2 weeks to prepare for this. I talked about Mike McDaniel on Twitter and in my last video, and I'm not going to like call people out and show their tweets or show their comments because, you know, everyone has the right to their opinion, but I'm going to give a little bit of pushback because I got a little bit of pushback on my thoughts and opinions on Mike McDaniel and how I'm kind of done with him. And a lot of the excuses from fans were, it's not Mike McDaniel's fault that Raheem Mostert and Alec Ingold fumbled. It's not McDaniel's fault on the penalties. It's not McDaniel's fault on the missed field goals. Those aren't his fault. If those things didn't happen, the Dolphins win this game. And they're not wrong in that aspect, that if those 2 fumbles don't happen and the missed field goal doesn't happen, the Dolphins probably do pull out a win because the Ingold fumble was on the 12-yard line. So they're not 100% wrong there. But when it comes to ball security, when it comes to holding players accountable, when it comes to decision making, when it comes to especially the penalties are on the head coach when it comes to lack of discipline. It is on the coach. I remember Tiki Barber had a fumbling issue. And Coughlin made it his point to teach him to keep the ball high and tight. And his fumbling issues went away. Like, you're on their 12 and you do a handoff to Alec Ingold. I think it was like 1st and goal from the 10 or whatever. You had Jalen Wright busting off runs, breaking ankles, making people miss in the backfield and gaining crazy extra yardage. And you give it a fullback handoff. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Obviously, the fumble's not his fault, but the circumstance that causes the fumble, in that instance, the Raheem Mostert fumble was Raheem Mostert trying to make extra moves and just go to the ground, man. That's on Mike McDaniel. The penalties, the lack of discipline, the lack of repercussions for not doing the right thing is on Mike McDaniel. How many times have we seen Julian Hill cause a turnover after a big play, or not a turnover, but a penalty after a big play, or make some stupid move or this or that, and yet he's constantly on the field? Like, there is no repercussion for bad play on the field from Mike McDaniel, and that's on the head coach. Now, Kyle Krabs, if you don't know who he is, you should definitely go follow him, came out with this tweet, and he broke it down beautifully. He says, finding routine drop back concepts that offer basic completion opportunities for your elite receivers, no matter who the quarterback, continues to be the most unacceptable element of the passing game. Miss me with, oh, they had cloud so-and-so, or hey, they played cover 2. You have 2 great receivers. They are great route runners. Spread the thing out, run basic routes, and let their talent win. If you're going to get cloud and too high, there's zero reason you shouldn't be able to exploit the massive available space that should be available everywhere elsewhere if they do that when you're getting 9 of 7 for the rest of the field. It shouldn't be this hard. Teams have exponentially more functional passing offense with exponentially less talent at their disposal, even with Tua's injuries. And he is 1,000,000% right. I think it was a 3rd and 2, or it was some type of play. We'll break it down in the film tomorrow, because yes, I'm going to do film breakdown tomorrow. And he had Jalen Waddle, Jonnu Smith, and Tyreek Hill run go routes. Essentially, I think it was like a 3rd and long, like a 3rd and 12. He had them run 15-yard routes down the field, all 3 of them. And he had the running back kind of run a little bit of a out route, about 3 yards. No crossers, no posts, no drags, nothing across the middle, just go, go, go. That's what Kyle's talking about. Like, if you come back and say, oh, well, we didn't run the ball because they had a single high safety and they had 8 in the box or whatever, then do something different. If you're coming at me and saying, oh, they had cloud, or they had cover 2 and this and that, then don't run go routes, run crossers, run posts, run drags, run something that helps your quarterback get the ball out quickly. And that, again, goes back to Mike McDaniel and his failures. Because yet again, Tua goes down, and we have Skylar Thompson, Tim Boyle, and Huntley. And all 3 of those guys are not it. But Doug, they're backup quarterbacks. I understand that. But how many backup quarterbacks have we seen come in? Malik Willis, Mason Rudolph, against the Titans, against us. How many of these guys have we seen come in, Sam Darnold, and win games? And it just happened yesterday. Jaden Daniels goes down with an injury. He comes out and he's in regular clothes. Knock, knock, who's there? Marcus Mariota goes out on the field. He goes 18 for 23, 205 yards, 2 touchdowns, 132.8 passer rating. Well, dog, that was against the Panthers. Yeah. And we faced the Titans, who have a horrible defense, and we just faced the Colts, who have a horrible defense. And we lost to both of them, and our quarterbacks look like doo-doo butter against them both. You see what I'm getting at? That's on the head coach not being able to get his head out of his tuchus. But Kyle Krabs continues. Several have made the point that the point of emphasis in this game was to run the ball and Jonnu, and that is total fair. And to be fair to the plan, both of those things worked well. 100% they worked well. So then why did you open the second half after an explosive run and force a 3rd down fade to Tyreek Hill on 3rd and 2 at midfield? And then, before you dig under the surface of the run game and get into the continued misevaluation of Jalen Wright's ability to help you, 5 touches, and 2 of them were probably amongst the best 5 runs of the day, and the Galaxy Brain fullback dive in critical spots. It's a messy situation with a lot of hands in the pot of fault, but I don't think wool over our eyes. Mike's hand in it, because of the backup quarterback situation, is going to be very productive towards solving the fundamental issues they're experiencing that are among things they can control. Essentially, he broke down the plays that, yes, it is Mike McDaniel and his play call. We come out the half and we run. Let me show you. Again, we'll break down film, but we come out the half and just so first off, defense. Force a punt, we get a touchdown, get a fumble, we punt, force a punt, 10-0. Should have been a touchdown here. Unfortunately, on 5 plays, we play prevent, give up a field goal. It was a long field goal. Good for them. Come out the half. This is what he's talking about. 12-yard run, 3-yard run, 5-yard run. We are moving that ball down the field. 3rd and 2, incomplete pass to the left to Tyreek Hill. Then, 5-yard penalty, we punt the ball. Why? 12-yard run, 3-yard run, 5-yard run, throw the ball deep. This is what Kyle's talking about. Why? And that is on Mike McDaniel. That is on his play calling. That is on his game plan that he's had 2 weeks to prepare for in this game. So I understand where I get, people want to push back and say, hey, it's not McDaniel's fault they fumbled. 100% it's not his fault. But it also is his fault that he's not sticking to when things work. I just watched Mike Tomlin run the ball down the Jets' throat for a whole entire drive and march it all the way down the field and barely made Russell Wilson throw the ball. And when he did throw the ball, it was out of play action and he was just dumping the ball off. Go to your team's strength. Right now, as we stand, and the past, 5 weeks? 6 weeks? 5 weeks. Our strength was the run game because our backup quarterbacks are not good. What does Mike do? I'm going to throw bubble screens. I'm going to throw fades. I'm going to throw go routes. I'm going to have our quarterback throw it this many times, that many times, this many times. The Patriot game, it flipped the switch and we won the game. First half, we were throwing it 23 times. We ran it 11. Second half, we threw it 11 times, ran it 23, and we won the game. But for some reason, Mike McDaniel in this game thought, I know better. They're expecting me to run the ball, so I'm not going to run the ball. Or they're expecting me to run the ball. Hey, Jalen Wright's running really well. Nope, I'm going to take him out and barely run it with him. So are we at rock bottom? I wouldn't say we're at rock bottom. Very close. Is Tua Tagovailoa going to come back, and is he going to light up this offense? I don't know. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, week 1 he didn't, and he didn't do it against the Buffalo Bills. As the year goes on, as the season goes on, you either get better or worse. We didn't see whether Tua was going to get better or worse. I personally think he would have won the game against Seattle and Tennessee, and he definitely would have beat the Colts. But again, I have to see this film to see if there's guys open, because against Tennessee and Seattle, there was guys open all over the field that he would have made the pass. Regardless if you think he's a one-read quarterback or whatever, those one reads were open, big time open. But I don't think they're at rock bottom, but I think they're very close. I say their feet are like dragging. So this is rock bottom and they're swimming. Their feet are like, and then they kick up a little bit. Then they come down and they kick up a little bit. You lose to the Cardinals, that's done. Fire. You need to clean house. 2-5, clean house. Plain and simple. Now, am I going to pick them to beat the Cardinals? No. I'm not picking them to beat a team for the rest of the year until they win, because they have not proven anything to me. But like I said, they're still in it. They are 3 spots out of the last wild card spot. They're in the 10th spot. Will they do it? I don't know. Probably not. I'm not getting my hopes up anymore. Yeah, they are 2 spots out of the last wild card spot. The Bengals and the Broncos are ahead of them at 3-4 and 4-3. Your wild card spots, I know you guys like playoffs, are the Colts, the Chargers, and the Ravens. Because the Steelers are now. That's crazy. Ravens, Chargers, Colts. And we lost to the Colts, so they have the tiebreaker over us. Sucks even more. So we're not that far down. Like I said, rock bottom. You want rock bottom? Cleveland Browns are rock bottom. We're getting there, though. Comment below. Let me know what you think. If you are against what I said about Mike McDaniel, what do you think about what I said now? I'm not going to really talk about Chris Greer. I think he should be gone, irregardless, iridocyclitis, what happens with this season. But comment below. Let me know what you think. Tomorrow, I will break down film. It's not going to be a long one. There's no reason to be a long one. It wasn't good on offense. I'm not breaking down the defense. Again, is the defense elite? Is the defense top 10? No, but the defense does so much for us to stay in these games and so much for us to win these games that if the offense would have scored any more, it would have been a whole different world. Prime example is right here when we fumbled the ball in the 38 and the defense had to start on their own 28. Sucks that happened. And then look at all this. Punt, fumble, punt, field goal. Like the defense did their job. They gave up 1 touchdown all game. They did their job, in my opinion. You held them to 16 points. This offense should be scoring more than 10. Comment below. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you tomorrow. Actually, I'll see you later today. I will be live on Bleacher Report today at 1 o'clock. Come help, come support, and I'll see you tomorrow with the film breakdown. But like usual, stay classy. If in top.